Tonight's doctoral thesis will be on the Gurkha Regent. And again, about a 6-inch cigar, same diameter as most of them, about 3/4 inch. Pretty looking band. Well, I can say this, I've reviewed Gurkhas in the past, and I don't think I had a bad one. But this might be the first lousy smoke. So I'm keeping my mind open and going to see if this makes the grade or not. Now, as a side note, I have to say that a lot of people have complained about me and my shirtless YouTube videos. The only defense I have is I did lose my shirt in the 2008 stock market crash. So that's why no shirt. If I ever regain my money, I'll put a shirt back on. So anyways, we're going after the Gurkha Regent, and a little side story about Harley Earl, the famous design leader of General Motors. Cranked up the Gurkha Regent. Lights up nice with my circular motion with the matches. Smells good. Ah, nice taste, just like a Gurkha should. So I'll get back and we'll see how it gets halfway down. Well, I decided to finish off wearing my one shirt. If I was to do all my videos with a shirt on, well, this would be what I'd be wearing all the time. So give you an idea that I do own one shirt. So on the Gurkha Regent, I was looking to say something bad about this cigar. I can't say anything bad about a Gurkha. Except it just went out on me. Oh well. Anyways, talking about Harley Earl. Now, I grew up in Midtown Detroit on Cass Avenue. My dad had a radio store on Cass Avenue. The store next to his was a Indian motorcycle shop. And across the street from us was Harley Buick. Now, I never thought much about the name Harley until like 50 years later when I got interested in cars, that I realized, hey, this Harley Buick was actually Harley Earl, the great designer at General Motors. So this is like 1950, 1951. I was in grade school, St. Patrick's grade school, which was just around the block. At that time, you walked everywhere. You know, nobody drove or did anything like that. So we had a minstrel show we put on every year, and we had a program, and in the program they sold ads. Now, we had a contest who could sell the most ads for the minstrel show program. So I took that as a challenge, and I was going around to all the store owners that I knew and getting ads, you know, like $5, $10. So I went over to Harley Buick, which was right across the street, and I said, you know, we need to raise some money for our minstrel show. Would you like to buy an ad? And the manager there said, well, we don't do anything like that. You have to talk to the owner. Well, I said, where's the owner? He says, well, you got to go up a couple blocks and upstairs and talk to the owner. Well, I think I was actually talking to Harley Earl. And I went up there and I gave him my little grade school spiel of how we needed money for putting on this minstrel show, and he could get an ad. Well, he listened to my story and looked at me pretty, you know, stern, and asked a few questions. And then he wrote me a check for $50 for the minstrel show. And I thanked him profusely. So anyways, this was my meeting with, I believe, was the owner, Harley Earl of Harley Buick. And the fame of Harley Earl was he designed the Y job which I consider like it was a 2-ton Corvette. And then actually he developed the Corvette car for General Motors, and his other outstanding contributions to General Motors is he put into design for the tail fins, and then everybody had tail fins. And even today, the Cadillac still has that tail fin concept. So if you look to the back end of a Cadillac, you'll see that vertical lights. Well, that always goes back to the 50s when Harley Earl designed those beautiful tail fins. Anyways, that's my story about meeting the great Harley Earl, and who I didn't even know who he was at that time. But getting back to the Gurkha, unfortunately it went out on me, so don't hold it against the Gurkha. It is a great smoke. I think anytime I smoke a Gurkha, it's going to be a delight. And I salute the Gurkha and the great Harley Earl. Well, I got my Gurkha relit, and I just wanted to give a little bit ending to the story. The Harley Buick dealership, right across the street from it, at Selden and Cass Avenue, was a Presbyterian church. And I remember the day when Henry Ford had his funeral service at this Presbyterian church. I mean, it was unbelievable. The number of people and cars that were involved in his funeral cortege. It was like a parade of a great magnitude when Henry Ford passed away, and it was really something to behold. Anyways, I won the contest for selling the most ads in for our minstrel show, and I was supposed to get a $25 prize for doing that. Well, I got stiffed by Father Boudreau, and I asked him, I said, I won. He says, yeah, you won. I said, where's my $25? And he just looked at me. He says, later. And he never gave me my $25. So anyways, God bless Father Boudreau anyway, and St. Patrick's Grade School. This is the end of the Gurkha Regent. There's not too many cigars. I will smoke down to almost burning my fingers. All I can say is the Gurkha Regent is finger licking good. This here is where my dad's radio shop was, in Detroit, Cass Avenue and Selden. And Harley Buick was right here. And the church, I talked about Presbyterian Church where Henry Ford's services were held. That church is right here on the corner. And where I went to school was down the block, and this is St. Patrick's Grade School on Parsons. And the Indian Motorcycle Shop was right next door, right here.